And welcome back to Tech Tuesday. So this Tech Tuesday is sort of a retraction correction video. Last time when I was talking about the tools that you need to clean your airbrush, I was talking about some product from Trigger Happy, this one in particular. So I was incorrect in what this did, and after I thought about it for a second and was watching some of the videos, I'm like, oh, I had that one wrong. So I thought I would do a Tech Tuesday on all of the Trigger Happy stuff. I was fortunate to meet them when I was at the Airbrush Art Circus in Orlando, and got to try out their products, and they were kind and gave me a bunch of them. So I thought I would show you guys what they're all about. So Trigger Happy makes accessory parts for your airbrushes, this being one of them. Now, last time when I grabbed this, when we were talking about different tools, I thought this was one of the tools to remove a part, but it's not. It's actually kind of cool. What this does, this actually will keep you from losing this little piece right here, the needle cap. And what you do is, normally what happens is if you're using an airbrush to get kind of detail, you'll remove this cap and operate the airbrush just like this. So you won't have the cap on. This allows you to get really close and see where the needle is aiming, so you can get really tight and precise. But what happens is, if you're like me, you will put this aside and it will be gone forever. So what they do is they have this little spot here that you can just kind of slip the needle cap in there, and this just fits right on the back of your brush. Now you won't lose your needle cap. It seems simple, and it is, but it's extremely effective, because now if you have one of these for each brush, you'll always know where the needle cap is. And if you're the kind of person that needs something a little cooler, they have that too. So same kind of deal, just with happy skulls on it. So this would do the same thing. It would stick in the back. I like this one. It's shaped like a bullet, like an actual bullet, which is nice. So that is how that works. So again, I was, for some reason I had the impression, and you'll see why in a second with the next tool, but I was under the impression that you use this to remove parts, and you don't. It's just simply, a holder, a cool holder. Okay, I'll get to the thing the Trigger Happy is really known for in the end. We'll save that. And here, actually, here's another really cool one too. So they've got a bunch of these in all different colors, so you can color match them. These actually serve another purpose too, with the grips as well, as when I show you that. But these do come in different colors, so you could actually set these up. If you have multiple brushes with different colors in it, you can actually color code your airbrushes. Like if one airbrush is for black paint and one is for white paint, you leave them set up all the time that way. You could have the trigger grips and the needle holders to match that, so you don't even have to look in the brush. You can have the cap on and you just go. You'll just be able to see what color is in it. So that's kind of cool too. Okay, so this is the part that kind of got me thinking incorrectly about the last one. This little guy is great. So one of the big problems with airbrushes that we were talking about last time was the fact that this is actually a brush that was gifted to me. And if you notice the head cap on this, see all the damage that's been done to this head cap over the years? So the person that owned this brush before me had used metal gripped pliers to take the head cap off. And if you look real close, and I'll zoom you in so you can really get a good feel for this. See all the damage that does to the cap? Because it's soft metal, and if you have a really, strong pair of pliers and a tight grip, you can really do a lot of damage. So, unfortunately for this brush, that type of damage is just cosmetic, but on some brushes, when you do that kind of damage, you can cause the airbrush to incorrectly perform. So that's important that you have the right tools. So that's where this little guy comes in handy. This is a really neat tool. So it's got flat sides on the inside. This just fits right over your head cap, and then you can just really easily, without any damage at all, just untwist your head cap and take that right off. No problem, no damage. In fact, the nozzle went with that. It's not supposed to, but it did. So it's a really, really cool, again, simple, straight ahead tool, but it really saves your airbrush. Really keep things from getting damaged. Put this back together now. And then the same thing. This will allow you to get some serious torque on this, but you don't have to. The good news is you can over tighten this, but you can't over tighten it to the point of damaging the airbrush. You're going to damage this tool before you damage the airbrush, which is exactly the point. And these come in cool colors too if you want to coordinate everything. So it's kind of a neat thing, and then you're ready to go. All right, and finally, what Trigger Happy is known for is the grips. And these come in different kind of configurations for different brush. This is the Eclipse one. You notice there's no groove in the bottom of this. They also have a version of this with the groove in the bottom, and that's for airbrushes shaped like this. So this little groove is for that little extension right there. Okay, so the way this works, it's really simple. It's got basically a cut in the side, so you don't have to remove the air valve from the brush, which is fortunate for the Eclipse because you can't remove the air valve, and it just clicks on like that. So it's either left or right-handed, so it will work either way depending on righty or lefty. Since I'm righty, that's the way I would have that set up. The first way I put on was for lefty, so you just spin it around if you're a lefty. And what it does is it just adds this ergonomic grip to any airbrush. Like that. And there's one other component that goes with that too. So I usually put the sandpaper on the pads, but Trigger Happy makes this cool little trigger grip. And that just, hopefully it'll work with the sandpaper on there. Which it does. So, and that just adds this little grip on the top. And that gives you a little bit of, just extra. It gives you extra height, which is kind of neat, but it also gives you that really neat comfort grip type of thing. And that's how Trigger Happy works. So, is it right for you? It depends. It's funny, with any of these extra type things, it's really personal preference. So I've never had a grip like this on any brush before. So for me, when I'm working really tight and in close, I tend to have it makes the brush feel very chunky to me, and that's uncomfortable, but only from a just a personal feeling type of thing. If you suffer a lot of hand fatigue, zip this out a little bit. If you suffer a lot of hand fatigue, you get that death grip that we talked about in one of the Tech Tuesdays, where you're really gripped on tight. This can help because it changes the fulcrum. It changes how far your fingers are gripping together. On a normal airbrush, you'd be right down on it, but this pushes it out a little bit. So that will change the fulcrum on the brush too, and that may just relieve that pressure that's in here. If you do a lot of airbrushing, like a t-shirt artist, this can be a useful thing because you're just going all the time non-stop. So having that extra grip just adds a little bit of extra comfort that will slow down the fatigue as well. So these are really personal preference. You'll hear all kinds of different opinions on how these are. You got to take them all with a grain of salt, and you just got to try it. They're not expensive, so it's worth trying out to see how you like it and how it works for you. I like them. I love the fact that you can swap them out between brushes. It's not like you're attaching this to the brush forever and that's it. So in some instances, when I'm using, like especially this brush here is set up to do really big spray. I changed the nozzle and needle out to a 0.5 in this, so it's a lot bigger than it normally comes when you buy this. So this I use for big areas or pearls or metallics or really chunky thick paint, and for that I don't need a lot of detail. So to have this brush set up with all the grips is really comfortable. I can just kind of apply these big huge patterns or the real thick paint, and I'm not worried necessarily about that uncomfortableness of being really close for me personally. So it depends. The best way to figure it out for yourself is to grab a set and try them and see what you think. I think you'll like them. I think they have their purpose. Again, they're not very expensive, so you can get a whole bunch of them for all your brushes. So it really works out pretty well. So that is Trigger Happy. I will leave the link to the company in the description. You can find them just about anywhere where airbrushes are sold now. They're really getting around. So you can just go to their website too and get connected with them there. But that is what's going on with that. So there is my retraction. So this is not a tool. It's just a cool thing, and these are all the cool stuff that Trigger Happy offers. So all right. So that is Tech Tuesday. The next Tech Tuesday, we're going to get back into the cleaning of these brushes. I know that was a two-parter, and I will get back on that. But I wanted to really clear that up with this week. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please remember to like and subscribe, and tell all your friends. And yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. If you have any ideas for Tech Tuesday, please let me know in the comments below or send me a direct message, and I will get right on it. All right, guys, have a great week. Keep your stuff clean, and I will talk to you next week.